My daughter is 4 years old and never spoke. At least, that's what I believed until very recently. For the past 3 weeks, I've lived as if someone took the world I knew, the world I had built with so much effort and pain, and turned it completely upside down, showing me the dark side of everything I thought I understood. My name is Elena. I'm 33 years old, and what I'm about to tell you is the story of how I discovered that my daughter's reality was shrouded in a lie so deep and terrifying that even today I struggle to breathe when I remember it. It all started when I took Sophia to a new specialist. After the evaluation, this doctor called me aside and said words that stopped my heart. "Your daughter doesn't have autism. Your daughter speaks perfectly. She just doesn't speak in front of you." Sophia was born 4 years ago and, from the beginning, was an exceptionally quiet baby. Sometimes I was surprised by her stillness, but I convinced myself that babies are different, that some cry more and others less, and that quietness didn't necessarily have to be a cause for alarm. However, when babies her age started saying their first words around their first birthday, Sophia didn't say a single one. I talked to her, sang to her, and read her stories every night. She would look at me with those big, dark eyes, with an attention I interpreted as understanding, but she didn't make a sound. At 18 months, I took her to the pediatrician. He told me what they usually say, that some children take longer, that the normal range for language development is wide, that we should wait another 6 months before worrying. I waited. But at 2 years old, Sophia was still completely silent. The process that followed was long, exhausting, and heartbreaking, in that specific way that medical processes are exhausting when they involve your own child. It was months of endless evaluations, waiting lists, specialists giving appointments 3 months in advance, exhaustive questionnaires about her development, and videos I recorded myself at home to document her behavior. We saw a developmental pediatrician, a speech therapist, and a child psychologist. The diagnosis finally came when Sophia was 2 years and 3 months old: autism spectrum disorder with language impairment. They explained it to me very kindly, gave me lots of brochures, recommended parent support groups, and talked to me about the importance of early intervention. They assured me that, with the right support, progress could be significant. I left that appointment holding Sophia's hand, sat in my car in the hospital parking lot, and cried uncontrollably for 20 minutes before I could start the engine. After that cry, I dried my tears and promised myself I would do everything necessary for her. And I did. Sophia started occupational therapy twice a week, speech therapy 3 times a week, and sessions with a psychologist specializing in autism spectrum disorder, ASD, once a week. I adjusted my work schedule so I could take her to all her appointments. I reorganized my entire house following the therapist's recommendations. I read everything I could find about autism. I joined mothers' groups. I learned to use the picture communication system they recommended so Sophia could express her basic needs. She never spoke, but she was progressing in other areas. She communicated with the cards, understood my instructions, and we had moments of silent connection that filled me with boundless tenderness. I learned to receive her love in her own way, accepted her as she was, and loved her deeply. A month ago, a friend from the mothers group told me about a new specialist who had come to town, a child neuropsychologist with a different and more recent approach. She mentioned that several mothers had taken their children to her and that the results of their evaluations revealed nuances that others hadn't seen. I made an appointment almost instinctively, always seeking what was best for my daughter. The specialist, Dr. Ramirez, was a woman in her 40s who exuded absolute calm and confidence. At our first appointment, she asked me questions for 40 minutes, not only about Sophia, but also about our family dynamics, the history of the diagnosis, and what a typical day was like in our home. Then, she asked Sophia to come with her to an adjacent playroom while I waited outside. That first session lasted an hour. As we left, the doctor told me she wanted to conduct 3 more one-on-one sessions with Sophia before giving me a full evaluation, assuring me not to worry, that it was all part of the process.